Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? If you'd like to just take your seats, that would be great. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Ward, and I have the privilege of being the CEO of the Quoted Companies Alliance. And welcome to our fourth annual conference, again entitled Engineering Growth for Small and Mid-Sized Quoted Companies. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you have an enjoyable and enlightening day. I'm delighted that so many of you can be here to debate and discuss how we continue to fuel the growth of the small and mid-sized quoted company sector. First, I've just got to do some housekeeping reminders, so please, if you could silence your phones and any other gadgets that you now have. But please feel free to look at your phones from time to time just to check tweets about the conference. The hashtags and stuff are on your agendas. Exits are clearly marked, and I understand that no fire alarm practices are scheduled. Before we get going, I'd just like to thank our sponsors who've made today possible. All the leading professional firms in the sector. Our headline sponsors are Crowe Clark Whitehill and Winterflood Securities, and our supporting sponsors are ICAP Securities and Derivatives Exchange, otherwise known as ISDX, Jordan's Corporate Law, LexisNexis, Phoenix, Standard & Poor's Rating Services, YouGov, and Zeus Capital. We really appreciate your support in making this conference happen, so thank you. I'd also like to thank each and every one of our speakers who've given us their time and their experience for free. We really appreciate their support too, so thank you to them. And also a very special thank you to Samantha Green and the rest of the QCA team for their good humour, especially in the last few weeks, and particularly when the train strike got announced, for their stamina and their support in producing this event literally from scratch. Our most recently published Small and Mid-Cap Sentiment Index, which we produced with BDO and YouGov, was completed before the general election. It showed that companies were significantly less confident about the prospects for the UK economy than they were for their own company's prospects. And this has been the case throughout the 4 years that we've been doing the survey. There seems to be little or no correlation between what directors think about their own companies and what they think about the UK economy. I don't think this is the case for FTSE 100 companies, so really growth companies are that special. Small and mid-sized quoted companies tend to be resilient. With the support of committed long-term investors, they're well placed to flourish whatever the economic weather. They're market disruptors and market makers rather than market dominators or even perhaps market suffocators. And I suspect the results of our current survey, taken after the election, will show a marked increase in confidence in the UK economy, as well as further increase in confidence in company prospects, and we'll publish the results in the next few weeks. But I wonder whether this relative indifference to the economic outlook will be as evident when we approach the European referendum. Will there still be inward investment? Will companies continue to see Europe as our biggest opportunity? Will overseas companies continue to see the UK as a major export venue? Last year, we asked companies which referendum outcome they would prefer. The vast majority, 90%, wanted at that time to see us stay in Europe. 71% of that 90% wanted some form of renegotiation. And only 4% of companies wanted a clear exit from the European Union. The Quoted Companies Alliance will report the breadth of the views of our members about this subject from time to time, and we'll see what happens. In any event, I trust in the resilience of our community. I'll come on to the work and what we're doing about the Quoted Companies Alliance after we've heard from our first speaker, Sir Win Bischoff, who's chairman of the Financial Reporting Council. I'd like to express my appreciation and thanks to the Financial Reporting Council for their support. We've been trying to raise the standards of corporate behaviour across our sector, and the FRC have been helping us with this. The visible support of the FRC when we launch a new version of the QCA code is hugely welcomed. And involving us in the Financial Reporting Laboratory and asking for our input and feedback, as well as our participation on matters such as the quality of small cap reporting, is hugely welcomed and appreciated. We're delighted to have Sir Win with us. Sir Win became chairman of the FRC in May last year. He's got substantial experience of leading complex international boards, both in the UK and the US, and his background spans a range of sectors, including banking, capital markets and finance, as well as government regulation and public policy. Sir Win's going to speak for about 10 minutes, and then sadly there's no time for questions because he literally does have a plane to catch. So please join me in welcoming Sir Win Bischoff.